G'day everyone, how are we going? Hopefully we'll get everything going again. Now, sorry, I missed last week's live stream because I was just a little bit ill and we've just recovered now. I was just not up to doing a live stream on last week. But not really much has happened. I was just really testing out computers and just seeing how things were going and just taking it easy for once in a way. So, so today we're gonna have a look at because hopefully the embargo is now completely off. So I know Microsoft has now announced it. So I thought I might just have a chat with you guys about the new Microsoft lineup. So I've known this a little bit, but it's really interesting to see what's going to come out. So for those who don't know what's actually has come out, so first off, Microsoft Surface Pro 8 has been released, and Microsoft Surface Pro 8, or just start with Microsoft Pro 8 first. G'day, Brian, how are you doing? Good to see you join me. So the Microsoft Surface Pro 8 is pretty much what I was hoping for, which is pretty much the Surface Pro X. Now, I did a review on that last year, so last year, and I said it was brilliant hardware. The only thing that was having issues with for the Surface Pro X was the compatibility issues with the software being ARM-based chip. Now they've actually put an x86, so you don't have any of those software issues. So the design is pretty much the same as the Surface Pro X, and I love the pen. The pen is pretty much like a carpenter's pen. I just love the shape of it, and the fact that it's actually now integrated into the cover type, so you don't actually lose it, because I'm not really that fancy on that side magnetic issue there. I have people who have lost their pens before, and those pens, even though it's about $170, still $100 in Australia anyway. So it's got that pretty much. I'll see if I can get one for review for that Surface Pro X, but I would expect it to be pretty much what I expect. Actually, where have I got my other one? It's going to be right here a second, which I have not actually done the review for, and that's the Dell Latitude, I think it's 7320 detachable. That's practically what this Surface Pro X is going to be like. This is the same thing as well, pretty much detachable, and you'll see that the pen is integrated on top. So that's the Surface Pro X. This is not it. But the difference between the Surface Pro X and this Dell one is this Dell one is actually serviceable. So you can actually, it's got screws at the back, so you can actually take this apart for the service person to actually come in. Whereas the Microsoft Surface Pro 8, you probably more than likely be doing what do you call it? A replacement program. So if there's anything wrong with it, they'll send you, well, you've got to send it to them. They'll send you another replacement refurb one in a way. So that's the Surface Pro 8. Like I said, I like the pen out of those ones there, and it is running the Intel 11th gen processor. Now let's have a look. Let me bring this thing up. Let's share the screen. This might actually help us out. So let me just try and work this. Here we go. This may actually help us out. Share. I'll add that in. Oh, there we go. All right, so we got the Surface Pro 8. Okay, let's hold a second. I've got to go to this one. Different screen. Who is this person? I don't know. I don't want to talk to you. All right. So we've got let me just move this across here. Is this easier? Not sure how this works. Okay. So tech specs. So the processor wise, it is using the normal using the G7 series. So that's the more of like a power saving one. So I'm expecting that to be a lot of very similar to a lot of my. I know this one's actively cool, so there is a fan in there, but I'm expecting to be about the same sort of processing speed as, I think, if you remember, if you watch some of my content on my channel, the Nook 11. That one there, I'm taking a guess it would be very similar in terms of processing power as that one there. It does have Thunderbolt 4. Microsoft did say it has Thunderbolt 4, so now that is going to be good, because especially if you're in an enterprise environment, you can actually connect docks to it, much better docks to it, which means it also can drive larger, higher resolution displays. The previous model, which is the Surface Pro 7, that was only a USB Type-C with USB Gen 2. So that was only able to, I think it couldn't do dual 4K screens. whereas this one can do dual 4K screens at 60 hertz. So that's going to be a really good. We've been waiting for Thunderbolt in the service lineup, and now we finally this year and next year we'll have Thunderbolt lineup. So that's good to see. So that everything else, I'm not very surprised by. It does. It's now the other thing that's a big change is the bump up to 32 gigs of RAM instead of 16 gigs. So that's nice to see they've bumped that up. And also the new display here, which is the 120 hertz display. Now this 120 hertz display, I'm not a gamer, but I do know that's on mobile phones where we actually do a bit of scrolling around. Now in a sort of computer like this is sort of like a laptop and a tablet. But I don't know if you do use a lot of the tablet side and you're scrolling through all the browsing for the surfing the web and on the things, yeah, maybe you'll feel a little bit of it. But truthfully, I don't really feel much of the 120 hertz. I know for games you probably do feel it for games, but for pretty much for professional work, more than likely 60 hertz is the default, and that's really what we really use. Now, of course, if you go up to 120 hertz, yeah, of course, you'll be using more power. So you've got to actually do that. So I'm interested to see the actual the speakers on this. I don't have one here, so can't really tell. But that's pretty much all the really difference with the Surface Pro 8. But it's pretty much the Surface Pro X, exactly what I wanted it to be. So it's good to see that Microsoft kind of listened to all of us. But it's also going to be interesting to see what would happen with the Surface Pro X. Now, Microsoft, when I was in conference with them, they said they didn't give me any news about the Surface Pro X. So I don't know if they will keep the Surface Pro X lineup at all. I hope they do, because we need to move a little bit more on the ARM side. But with the Surface Pro 8 looking what it looks like, I don't know if more encouragement to software developers to actually go to ARM-based. So that's going to be a bit of a sad thing for the Surface Pro X lineup, but it's good to see. Maybe they might do something very revolutionized for the Surface Pro X lineup, anyway, just like how they did with this whole design with the pen and stuff like that. So maybe we'll see something more of that. So that's Surface Pro X 8. So and also they've also released the Surface Pro 8. So Surface Go 3. Now this one here, I've had play with the Surface Go and the Surface Go 2 previously, and I think I might have done a review for the Surface Go 2. And really, it's a really under-spec version of the Surface Pro lineup. Now you would only, and in the past I would say it is really slow and it was very single task, and that's mostly to deal with the actual processor and also the amount of memory it has. Now this one now it's been changed. So let me go tech specs. All right, so go away this person. Okay, there we go. So the biggest thing change is these new two processor. The Pentium, I have not tried the new Pentium. I have tried the new Celeron, and that's good. So this Pentium is a little bit faster than Celeron. I think you will see my previous one about the Asus, that BR1100, and that one I was surprised by, actually, the new Celeron. So that can actually do a little bit more multitasking, whereas the previous model just cannot. The Surface Go 2 was very single task, and you would probably buy that just for budget wise, or if you're in some sort of situation where you could buy a bulk of them for this particular application for that. But now there is a i3 version, and that's good to see, because the i3 is a pretty decent processor for this sort of budget range here. So that's really the biggest point I have to say with the Surface Go 3. So it does make it more usable than before. Now the price here, I just saw the price now. The price here is about $630, which is good. It's a good price, but I think you can get a few Android sort of systems for that sort of, that you're getting close to the mid-high range to a high range of the Android tablets anyway. So this is only if you're really running a Windows task, and also I'll probably just go for Android. Right? But still, that's good to see that done something with the processor wise. Now it is only going up to, I think it's 8 gigs. Yeah, 8 gigs. Again, this is going to be very single source spec for that particular few applications. All right, Brian, so let's have a look at that. Have you seen? No, I have not seen Dave's 2D's YouTube foreshadow video of the latest Microsoft Service products. No, I have not. I actually, when Microsoft gave me the bit of a roadmap, we were under embargo. I just was like, I was nodding my head, went, okay, interesting. Now not, so I can actually talk about a little bit of that stuff there, which is kind of good. So the next thing that's come out, which I will talk about, which is the Surface Laptop Studio. So there's Laptop Studio. Now this Surface Laptop Studio is kind of the replacement for the Surface Book 4. Well, Surface Book 3. So if there was a Surface Book 4, this would be it. So they didn't name it, code-name something about that. Now, because that's now finally out, I can actually talk a little bit about this Surface Laptop Studio. So this Surface Laptop Studio, now, gone is the way they still call this the 2-in-1 because it can go into tablet mode. And what I'm going to show you this tablet mode. Unfortunately, this is all like that, sort of like a tablet mode, and it folds back on itself. But really, the Surface Book. Let me just show you so you can see what the Surface Book looks like. And I've done a review for this for the Surface Book 2, and also just a quick unboxing of the Surface Book 3. Anyway, but the beauty about the Surface Book is the ability that you can actually convert this completely away from a laptop to a tablet. And basically shed weight is what we call it. So you're shedding away a lot of the weight, which is the bottom part of this, which is the keyboard, and most importantly, the battery in here. And there is also a discrete graphics in this one at the bottom as well too. So you're really getting sort of a tablet plus a crazy battery with GPU once it's connected up together. But the main reason why you actually get this is because if you've got sort of and it's very unique. It's a very unique sort of unique applications that would be using. I had a few clients actually did look for this particular thing, and this is a very unique product in its own self. There is no other product out there where the GPU is sitting inside of the keyboard, and you can then pull it apart and then not have the GPU and then just have just a tablet away. So this is a very unique product. So with this new idea of this Surface Laptop Studio, you cannot detach the keyboard and GPU away. That stays as one whole entire unit all the way through. So it's good still for field work, but this particular, let's have a look, the Surface Book was for a lot of people who were doing field work, who actually didn't require the GPU, and they just only wanted to travel with a tablet instead. And that was the unique part of the Surface Book 3. Whereas this now here is becoming pretty much a laptop in a way. So the only difference between really this and what I would say the Surface Book Pro is it's got a GPU, and that's pretty much flat out all there is. The other thing is it's also got, this is more similar to a mobile workstation because of the processor in here. So this one here does have the Intel Performance, which is the Tiger Lake H processor. So that's one of the main key points. So you'll see the H at the back of it for the processor. So it is going to be quicker than the other rest of the lineup of the Surface Books. The Surface Pro and also the Surface Laptop as well. So Surface Laptop. So this, when I was looking at going, should I even consider the Surface Laptop at all? But that has another sort of segment in the market as well too. So that one's for the people who don't need the GPU or the extreme crazy fast processor there. So that's more for your mainstream. But for the Surface Laptop Studio, it is pretty much a mobile workstation. Now, what's really interesting is to say that it's a mobile workstation is actually the graphics in here. They did, when I was given the presentation, they did talk about the GeForce in there. I was surprised they put a GeForce in there. I was hoping they'll have some Quadro range in the GPU. So let me have a look at it. So it's only got the 350 Ti. Now, I've encountered the 350 Ti in the Dell XPS 1595 10. I haven't done a review for it. I really need to put a review for it because I'm actually trying to do the precision to 55, 60 still. I gotta whip myself to actually do that. And I have seen the actual performance of this one here. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. I was expecting the Surface Laptop Studio to have more than the 3050. I was hoping for maybe a 3070 or 3080 in there, because just to have a little bit more powerhouse or more options to give you than just the 3050. It would have been better. I would like to see a better graphics in there for just a little bit higher. That's all. That's it. So I'm not too disappointed by the 3050, at least a 3050, but I would like to see a higher one than that. To actually do, or even having quadro range, so you have an option for quadro range to actually make this fully certified for a lot of applications for the professional work, which is what this is aimed for. But I guess this is more aimed for people, for digital artists as well too, because it can actually draw as well too. So that's really. I'm a little bit. I'm happy, yet I'm also saddened by the Surface Laptop Studio because of the fact that this Surface Book, unless they're going to really make another thing for the Surface Books which you can actually detach. I think that was a very cool, unique idea. Or unless they're going to do something like that. So that was a bit something. Now, as for dock wise, they didn't say they had any plans for any docks for next year. So we're going to be using all the previous docks are compatible with the current new ones and the new ones as well too. But really, I'm saying from my heart, I'm not really a fan of the Surface docks. I've had a lot of issues with them in the past, and also the fact that the Surface docks, the new version is running USB-C, two USB-C outputs for the displays, and that means you've got to buy adapters. So really, you're adding extra costs onto a dock. So I personally will go with a Thunderbolt dock now that all the new services are Thunderbolt enabled. So I would actually go with a Thunderbolt dock in a way. So, and they'll have like your full size HDMI ports or the full size display ports. So I think that's more useful than having two USB Type C ports in the Surface dock. So that's my own opinion for that. So good to see. But yeah. That's I think the other one that I was wanting to actually talk about is this Surface Dual. Now I'm not they had a quick talk about Surface Dual. I don't know if this is even coming out, or okay, maybe I'll not be able to talk about it because it's not got nothing information about. But yeah, they're going to be doing something. They're trying to bring this back in to it. So I won't talk about too much about this because they haven't got that information there. I was waiting to that's released because I can't remember the embargo dates for that one there. So I won't talk too much about it. But it's going to be an interesting product. It is going to be very. It might be good for a lot of businesses who actually want to use this as a mobile phone, because I know there was a lot of people who wanted to use Microsoft mobile phone. So this will run the Microsoft 11 in Windows 11 there. So that's good to see. G'day, Manhattan. How are you doing? It's good to see. And how is Brisbane's going? Good. We are a little bit edgy at the moment. There might be some cases here. We're at the moment trying to find out if we're maybe a day or two. We'll find out if we're going to be in lockdown or not. But weather here has been fantastic. It's been cold at night and very hot at daytime, and we're about to go into a long weekend. So we've got some holidays coming through, which is kind of good anyway. So how are you doing anyway in India? Hope everything's all well for you. But yes. So I won't talk too much about that anyway. I'm not sure if anyone had to play with Surface Studio 2. I haven't even played with Surface Studio 2 myself. I've heard and seen it, but I haven't really had to play with it anyway. So that one's something I might, if I ever get on the Microsoft sort of reviewers program, or hopefully I'll be able to get one of these in to have a look at. So that's about it. Have anyone got any questions about these new Surface lineup here? Because the rest of the other stuff that they're doing is all software based anyway, so which I won't cover because I really want to just talk about the hardware side of things anyway. But yes, it'll be nice to see. Oh, there's new options. Actually, that's new to me. I haven't seen what the new options is. Did they do anything more to this, or it's still the same process anyway? So it's still the same thing, and it's still got 8 or 16 gigs anyway. So not too bad. But yes. Anyway, let me bring this thing back out and we'll just see how that goes. There we go. India's back to normal. That's good to hear. That is fantastic to hear that India's taking care of itself, and now hopefully a little bit of normality is coming back to your life as well too, and getting the society going. Especially we've got a lot of lockdowns. We got 2 states here in Australia that's locked down anyway. So hopefully, I think next month. Next month. I know one of the states, largest states, they're pretty much rebooting. They're going to be rebooting their economy back up again. So hopefully the same with India, that their economy is rebooting as well too for it. So it's going to take a bit of time for us anyway. So, and hopefully one day our borders, maybe next year, that will be open. So it'll be nice to be able to travel again as well too. So, anyway, so. Have you guys got any questions about the service lineup? I'd love to hear what you guys think about this new service lineup. If anyone has ever had played with service before or had any experience for services. Now, normally I've had a bit of experience with service, not the best experience, but I've definitely had a lot of experience with some service lineups. Now, a lot of people have asked me about the service, if it's a good product, and I can tell you that it's great if it's using it for personal. And if you're driving like more than the display, if you're using the service lineup as a normal service, like a laptop with its own keyboard and not connected to any sort of display, then it's fantastic. Once you connect that to a display, well, actually, if you connect the display directly to the Surface, that's fine. But if you connect into a dock, that's when it has issues. I've had a lot of firmware issues and stuff like that. Finally, hopefully getting done with it anyway. Dave said it would be better if with AMD chip inside. I think, if I remember correctly, they were looking at the Surface. I would like to see AMD's chip in there. I definitely would love to see AMD chip in there. I think I remember the Surface laptop has an option for. Let me have a quick look. Wait, let me bring up that screen again. So let me add. Oh, I want to add this. There we go. If I remember correctly, the Surface laptop has an AMD option. If I remember correctly for that. Let me just double check that. Unless I'm lying to myself. But I think there we go. So there may be there we go. I'm hoping that when they do the renewal for this, which is the Surface Laptop 5, I haven't heard any news yet so far about the Surface Laptop 5. I am hoping they will actually they'll boost this thing up to the Ryzen 5000 mobile chips on there. That would seriously already. This is seriously a good chip. But if they boost this up to the next gen, which is the current gen, the 5000 mobile chip, that will be serious contender. And if you had to ask me which one to get, I would easily, no questions asked, just tell you the AMD version. Right? It's going to outperform any of these two easily, no questions asked. If this was the Intel H processor, then that's a bit on the fence. AMD is probably still better, but the Intel is really catching up from my testing from the Tiger Lake H Pros. That's really a good chip. But still, I find that the AMD still run cooler as well too. Anyway, so but that it's something I like to see AMD, but at least they've got now AMD in there rather than some of the manufacturers who just completely won't put AMD in there. So, but no, I think this is fantastic to see they've got AMD in the Surface laptops. Now, I'm hoping that will bring in. I don't know if they will put it in the Surface Pro lineup. I like to see them do that. That might be a next step for them. And also for the Surface Studio. Surface. What is it called? Surface Laptop Studio. That one there, I like to see an AMD version as well. I like to see. So it's good to see that they've still got AMD in one of their products, which means it could carry out for the other products as well too. So definitely, I like to see more AMD's products in some of the, just give them a little bit of competition in a way. So I know they've at least got the ARM for the Surface Pro X, but I like to see AMD in there. Now, the other thing I would like to talk about is I want to actually talk. I know that some people have been asking about the Elder Lake. I think we had a chat with that last stream as well too. Now I'm hoping I'm going to hopefully see some samples of this Elder Lake about those 8 cores. I'm the energy efficient ones, the economy ones, and the performance chips. I'm really interested to see that, and I've made inquiries to Intel as well as the graphics card as well too, which is what was it called again? The RS something anyway, the ARC GPU. But I haven't got anything yet from Australia, so we'll find out maybe later on this year. We're getting close to the end of the year anyway, so hopefully we'll see something more news about that in maybe next month or the month after the way. So, but it will be out this year anyway, so I'll hopefully get a sample then. So yeah, awesome. But else, that's pretty much all there is. So yeah, nothing much, and yeah, we're just taking it easy and I'm just recovering and just having a little bit of time, and then hopefully there will be some big changes later on later this year for this channel. So we'll keep that up and going. But yeah, if you guys got any questions before I call it a night, and I think we've done about nearly 30 minutes or 25 minutes, so it's pretty good to see that we'll have that. And I just want to keep on topic with just the Microsoft stuff in a way. So else, I'll just give you guys a few more minutes, and if not, then I'll call it a night. But yeah, so the next thing I am going to try and get this AMD W6800 out. This video out. That's the next one I'm actually trying to do. And then right after that, I'm going to skip some of my Lenovo ones. I'm meant to get these Precision Series ones out. So the first one of the Precision Series will be the 7760, because that's probably the most unique one, and a lot of people have been asking me about that one there. And then I think I'll probably follow it up with the 5560 one right after that anyway. So that's the timeline I'm aiming for. All right. If not, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and definitely, hopefully, you guys stay healthy and safe. And of course, you guys remember, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll catch you guys in the next stream. See you guys. Have a good one.